let's start off with the Daily Nation.
Right.
It's looking into land and how you might lose your hand. That's the literal title for that story, is how you could lose your land.
Yeah.
Now it's delving deep into cartels and brokers who are forging crucial documents and conniving with rogue officials in registries and falsifying documents in the process of making title deeds and robbing Kenyans of their precious land. I'll start with you, Mr. Abdi Somad. When you see the story, what do you feel about it?
It's very unfortunate, you know. Basically, you know, Kenya is not another republic.
Yeah.
Kenya is governed by constitution and law.
Right.
If the ministry is serious about issuing the, you know, what the title is, they have to follow a due process. Process is very clear.
Yeah.
If you go today, if you are going to apply, you know, land in somewhere in Kenya, the process are very clear. So the Kenyans must respect the law.
Yeah.
Kenya must respect the constitution, and officials in charge of the Ministry of Land must be serious about this issue. So because, you know, otherwise we are easily scared investors who come to this country and invest.
Yeah.
Because if there is no law, then who is going to invest our country?
Yeah.
It's difficult. So it's something very serious, something, you know, they have to take seriously. Otherwise, we can easily lose billions of shillings a year.
That is right, because they say this process to sell and the land that is stolen is actually sold to unsuspecting investors, and some of these investors are foreign investors, and they lose millions of shillings in that actual process. Now they are also detailing how it is done, and they're giving us a four-step process. They tell us the fraudsters start with green cards through which they gather details on ownership, then the national ID card and the PIN of the current owner. Then they move on to the potential buyer and given fake documents and a search at the land registry, and before you know it, the buyer is taken to the land controls board, or minutes are forged and get transferred of consent for before payment. Now, and then we're having the people who buy the land finding themselves in just a mix that they do not know how to get out of. And on page 10 of that same paper, we're having more stories on land and how Kenyans are losing land. One story is titled how Kenyans lose land to con men in detailed scheme. Then we have Nyeri County becoming breeding ground for confidence tricksters, as well as legal loopholes that help grabbers in land theft. So this is clearly a Kenyan problem, a very deep one. That is on page 10 of the Nation. When you see that, Mr. Kambona, what do you feel?
Trixie, I think the issue of land in Kenya is always going to be a problematic issue. Why? Because we've never faced the issue head on.
Right.
I think one of the biggest landmarks was the Ndungu report, which really articulated areas of land disputes and how we could go about resolving our Kenyan land problems.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, we've always evaded that and always tried to do what we would call a quick fix mechanism, you know, where we try to change the institution that deal with land, but we never quite have them fix the issues that are underlying. I mean, just recently, of course, you've been hearing the Land Commission chair. Probably he spent most of his time in court than resolving land issues.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then you've always heard about the Ministry of Land always having issues regarding land in court or outside. Now, so I think that so long as we as Kenyans do not want to face what our problems are, and land, you know, is very, very, very center in all of us, you know, it is a very important aspect of our life in Kenya. And so one of the issues, maybe we'll come to that, but unless we once for all sit as a country and say, hey guys, let's deal with this land issue, just like we dealt with the constitution at one point. You know, we kept on, you know, talking. We need a new constitution. We need until finally we went on it and had a new constitution. The same issue should happen on land.
Yeah, and it also details how they're doing it. They give a very slight difference in the registered numbers of the land and the acreage and the hectares. And I mean, you might need to be extremely keen to realize that there's a difference. For example, they give you a number of 0.09999, and then you find that whatever you handed has 0.999. So it's very difficult to notice these differences. Mr. Abdi Samad, what do you feel is the problem with society? I mean,
you know, when we put in competent officer
Yeah.
in the place, somebody who knows his work, it's easy, you know, to control or contain such kind of things. The problem is, although the Minister of Land now, they are trying to, at least, you know, they are putting what they call computerize the entire
Yes.
system, so that at least they can minimize the fraud. They are doing a good job. In fact, if you look at, you know, if you go back to history, early 1910,
Yeah.
similar things happen in America, whereby the people, they are trying to grab land here and there. It's a normal thing when the, you know, society in transition.
Yeah.
Normally they do this issue, so that, you know, the gap between poor and rich is almost widening. All in all, you know, in order to contain such kind of, you know, criminal activities, you know, we have to put in place a competent officers in charge. We have to follow what they call the due process.